What's up, everyone? Sam here, coming to you from the control room, and I am very excited this week to be bringing you another unboxing and review. This time we're taking a look at Armour of God 2 Operation Condor 4K. This is super exciting. This is one of Jackie Chan's best movies, arguably. I really enjoy this one. I haven't seen it for a while, actually, so I'm really looking forward to taking a look at this. Similar to Hard Boiled last time around, it was one that I hadn't seen for a while, but definitely a favorite of mine. And whereas I'd seen Hard Boiled a number of times, probably up to double digits, if not 8 or 9 times before I came back to it again recently. This one is one that I have not seen that many times. I think I've only seen it once. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out again. I thought that, we'd stay in the realm of Hong Kong cinema, at least for now, and another 4K release. This one is new-ish, not as new as Hard Boiled was. This one's been out for a little while, but no less interesting to take a look at, and of course in 4K. So we'll certainly be talking about the text specs on this one. But let's just dive right in. No need for a big preamble. Crack this thing open and see what we find inside. Then I'll go take a watch, report back, and tell you what I thought of everything. So here we are, right over here at our lovely black mat. I was a little worried. My wife actually, she watched the video and she said that she thought maybe the mat was just a little distracting last time around. So I wanted to go with something a little bit more neutral. Although I do love that play mat that I used earlier. It's a play mat for like trading card games or extra large mouse pad, whatever you want to use it for. In my day job right now, I actually do marketing work for a friendly local game store in the Chicagoland area, and get to play all sorts of fun games. But anyway, here we are with the Armour of God 2 Operation Condor 4K Ultra HD. This is by 88 Films, which is a wonderful boutique label in the UK, which has done an excellent job with a number of releases, a lot of Hong Kong films, martial arts films, but they've branched out into all sorts of stuff. I have a few other films of theirs that I'll definitely be taking a look at some point in the channel, including Witchfinder General, which is a cool little kind of horror film slash, schlock, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let's take a look at this gorgeous box that they've done for Operation Condor here. It just looks lovely with the spot varnish there on the side. You can kind of catch that in the light. We'll take the little slip here off gently. Don't want to tear this beautiful box. And there you see on the back, we've got Jackie here. Again, the spot varnish all over, which looks gorgeous, and that beautiful art there, which is just phenomenal. And I need to find the artist, which I will definitely come back to you and let you know who did that for 88 Films. Also, it's got the soft touch, which is also just always lovely. I love when boxes or books have that kind of soft touch feel to them. And again, this is pretty weighty. Definitely is going to hold up on the shelf. It's not something that's just going to get all flopsy right away. We'll take that out. Leave this over here so y'all can see it. And here we have the 4K box, which again has that beautiful artwork on it. We'll crack this open. We've got our Ultra HD 4K right there, and then we flip this over and we have another 4K right here, and then we have our Blu-rays, which includes the features and the extras. This one here is the extended cut as well. So we've got lots of really great stuff here, just looking fantastic. The regions on this, just so everyone knows, I don't want to lead anyone astray. Of course, the 4Ks are all region. However, the Blu-rays are only region B, so you will need a multi-region player if you're in the States in order to play that. One of the other great things, of course, about 88 Films is they do a wonderful job of providing reversible slip covers, and this one is pretty sweet. It's got the original Hong Kong poster on the other side, and I've got to say I'll definitely be leaving this one on the outside. Although, honestly, maybe having this one to contrast with the box is not a bad idea. In fact, you know what? I've convinced myself. I'm going to slip this in the opposite direction so we can get the original movie poster on the disc while we have the the actual case with that new gorgeous artwork. We'll slide this in. And I do love this. I love the fact that, you know, it's something simple, and yet it's just really nice to have that option to be able to kind of reverse that cover and get a good, you know, contrast there. And you get to go for what you want. You know, if you want the artwork, if you want the film poster. And I think that, you know, for the most part, the artwork that they release is so gorgeous that it's hard to, you know, want to cover that up. But in this instance, because again, we have the box, and I can slide this into the box, then bring it out, and I've got the poster, which is pretty sweet. I think I'm actually going to have it this way. So there you have that. And then we get this gorgeous book. Again, with that same poster. The book just feels so nice in your hand. I mean, that's the other thing that I love about this. It's not just a simple little booklet that's thrown in there, flimsy thing. This is a really, really nice, heavy-duty book, heavy stock on the paper. Gorgeous, gorgeous photos, of course. The layout of the book is done really, really well. It's just wonderful here. You see, of course, our cast, our crew. You know, Jackie really put a lot of himself into this film. This was a film that, you know, he directed, he wrote, he of course did, you know, stunt work with, he had his stunt team with him. It's pretty amazing, you know, the amount of effort, obviously, and you get all of these wonderful, wonderful pieces of writing and interviews in this booklet, which is pretty incredible. The care that they put into this sort of stuff, the information that's here is without a doubt just amazing. We're going to go back out here. Hey, away from the table for a moment to unleash this awesome poster. Similarly to the work that they do on the covers themselves, of course, you get posters, and the poster is going to be double-sided. So on one side, we have this beautiful new artwork for Operation Condor, and then on the opposite side, we have that amazing Hong Kong picture as well, movie poster as well, which is just super cool. And these posters, you know, it's one of those things where I always struggle. What do I want to do with them? Because they're gorgeous and I want to display them, but there's only so much space. So maybe I'll have to start like a poster book or something like that. Back over to the table though, again, you have the poster, booklet, and the discs. And then here is that beautiful, beautiful slipcase, which is just gorgeous. Soft touch, feels very substantial. You know, even as I put like a little pressure on it, like this is not flimsy. This is nice. So really looking forward to having that out for display. Let's talk a little bit about special features. So special features include a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative of the original 107-minute Hong Kong cut and the 117-minute extended cut presented in Dolby Vision high dynamic range, HDR10 compatible, 4K 2160p Ultra HD presentation on 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio. High definition Blu-ray discs also included. You've got the Cantonese mono on the theatrical audio, Cantonese 2.0 stereo mix on the home video mix, classic English mono dub, hybrid Cantonese English track created for this release, newly remastered English subtitles, audio commentary by New York Asian Film Festival's Frank Jeng and filmmaker F.J. DeSanto, audio commentaries by Arnie Vinema and Hong Kong film expert Mike Leader, Fighting with the Condor, an interview with actor Vincent Lin in 2 parts, Magnificent Bodyguard, an interview with actor Ken Lo, Martial Arts Mercenary for Hire, an interview with actor Bruce Fontaine, Victor Fan and on Operation Condor, Project Eagle credits sequence, original Hong Kong trailer. It's always great to see those trailers. It gives you a really wonderful bit of comparison between the kind of the original look of the film and the 4K restoration. And then you also have remastered Hong Kong trailer, so that's nice. English trailer, Japanese TV spots, and a stills gallery. Absolutely amazing. So cool. Cannot wait to get into this. This is going to be just so fantastic. The art is by Sean Longmore, and Sean Longmore has done a phenomenal job with that artwork. It is absolutely gorgeous. You need to see this in person with all the beautiful soft touch spot varnish. It's amazing. Really can't wait to watch this film again. It has been a while. I'm going to go off. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to come back and let you know what I think. Before I do that, though, I did want to just say, hit the like, subscribe button. I really appreciate everyone who checked out the hard boiled video. Thank you so much for that. It has been one of the most popular videos that I posted in quite some time, and I'm super glad to know that this change of pace is striking a chord with some folks. So if you liked what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on. There will be a lot more. Not not only will I be doing unboxings and reviews like this, I'm also going to put out some stuff that I'm going to call, I think, quick kicks, which will just be short capsule-sized reviews of stuff that maybe is a little bit older or not quite as fancy, but something that strikes a chord with me and I want to share with you. In addition, of course, to this type of content, there's going to be a lot of other stuff in the pipeline very soon. You're going to see some crossover stuff with a couple of other podcasts, including Fandom Entanglement. Of course, I was on an episode of their Sliders Rewatch podcast not too terribly long ago, and Damon invited me to help them cook up something for the holidays, so I look forward to sharing that with you. There will also be some wonderful guests that I hope to have in the very near future, and I'll be telling you about them down the road. But in the meantime, I'm going to go watch Operation Condor, the Armour of God 2 with Jackie Chan, and I'm going to come back and let you know what I thought. So stick around. All right, and I am back. I have just taken a view of the Armour of God 2 Operation Condor, a Golden Harvest production, starring, written by, directed by, theme song sung by Jackie Chan. That last bit is amusing to me just because Jackie Chan, of course, does not actually voice his own character. There's a voice actor who voices Jackie Chan's character because, of course, these films were shot with no sound. So there was no sync up live shot. They overdubbed everything. And Jackie Chan doesn't actually provide the voice of his own character, which is amusing to me. However, there are two songs in the film that he does sing. That said, the 4K looks phenomenal. There's just excellent, vibrant color, lots of great grain structure, and the blacks are very black. And just the opening scenes in the Philippines, so lush and green. Everything looks so great in the caves. There's nothing that no artifacting, no pixelation, anything like that. It just looks really great, really natural, really vibrant, and I really appreciate the care and the work that 88 Films has done in this restoration, which is their own work. This was not the same Chinese 4K, I believe, that was done a year or two prior to 88 Films. So 88 Films just knocked this out of the park. It looks fantastic. Just kind of comparing and contrasting it actually to Hard Boiled, which we spoke about last week, I will say that it didn't have the same depth, perhaps, that film print had, which is interesting to me considering that they were shot around the same time. Now, one of the big differences, of course, is that in Hard Boiled, you're getting a lot of urban settings, some soundstage work and that sort of stuff. Whereas with Operation Condor, you're getting a lot of on location stuff. You're getting a lot of, you're getting the desert. You're getting the stuff on the streets of Madrid, and that's not a knock against it because everything still looks very natural and very real, but there was something kind of interesting about the kind of the depth that the picture kind of seems to lack a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's just the source material, the way it was shot, or what, but it was an interesting thing that I noted. That said, I can't imagine the film looking much better. It's incredible. Colors are fantastic, skin tones are amazing, everything looks very natural. There's no digital scrubbing, there's no AI, there's no DNR at work here. This is real film stock. This is as close as you can get to having that on your home theater system, and I was incredibly impressed with the work that they had done. Audio is great. Of course, this isn't going to be something that shakes the room necessarily. This isn't going to be something that is super high fidelity by any stretch. I mean, you're getting stereo soundtracks, mono soundtracks, etc. I did kind of spot check all of them, though, and they sounded good. Sound effects sound great. Music sounds great. The score for the film is quite wonderful, and I really appreciated how crisp and clean and just really vibrant everything sounded throughout the film. So that was certainly excellent. All of the sound effects for your action scenes are exactly what you would expect from this kind of film, and they just sound great. They sound great. And I think that one of the things about the film, I kind of smiled as I was talking about those sound effects, but it's such a fun movie. To talk about the content of the film for a moment, this is such a fun picture. And I think that, Jackie really was able to hit on that amalgamation of Indiana Jones, James Bond, MacGyver. It's something I thought about frequently, believe it or not, and his own brand of action comedy, kung fu, stunts. And it just is such a beautiful fusion of all of those things, and the homages to Indiana Jones, the homages to James Bond. I mean, all of that stuff plays so well. It never gets into parody. It never feels like just a blatant ripoff. It's just kind of a tip of the cap in most cases. Nothing's like, shot for shot stealing or anything like that, which of course some of Jackie's work would become the victim of on a couple of occasions. But the film is just really a wonderful action adventure. And again, the word I kept coming back to, even as I was watching it, is how much fun this was. The action choreography is just so inventive and so slick. It's lean, it's fast, and it makes sense. It feels very organic. That's the thing that always fascinates me about Jackie Chan, who is just such a genius. And I think that, the comparisons to Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin have been done to death, but they are so apropos, because the nature of his work, it obviously leans heavily on what was established by those two geniuses. And I think that the way that he incorporates his own brand of kung fu and comedy and timing into that physical realm, that work that those two were so capable of doing, is really remarkable. And I think Armour of God 2, Operation Condor, sees Jackie kind of at the height of his powers when it comes to that. And while some of these scenes are certainly not going to compete with like Police Story or the first Armour of God necessarily, that's not to say he plays it safe. I mean, there's still some really incredible action set pieces. It's just not necessarily as full throttle as some of his earlier work. The care into the telling the story and some of the filmmaking and some of the comedy and the farcical elements, really balance out all of that action quite well. And while a lot of those farcical moments lead to some action set pieces that are quite brilliant, ultimately the film is not necessarily about being that big kind of over the top action film like some of those others are. Again, that's not to say that there aren't some incredible, amazing scenes. Whether it's the chase scene where he's on the motorcycle, the action scenes in the hotel when they're in Morocco, or of course the final, the final two big action scenes when they reach the special secret hidden location that I don't want to give too much away for those that haven't seen the film, because I imagine that if any of my previous followers aren't familiar with this film or aren't familiar with Jackie Chan, I don't want to spoil too much. But I highly recommend checking this movie out, even if you're not necessarily going to go all in and pick up this 88 Films 4K. Stream it, or Shout Factory put out a really wonderful Jackie Chan box set that includes this film as well as the prequel, or rather the first one in the series. And I think that this is definitely a worthy film to check out. The story itself is fairly straightforward, and it's told without a lot of exposition. There's certainly some towards the very beginning when kind of the mission gets set up, but after that it's really just about moving closer and closer towards the goal, and each scene progresses that. And you're not going to get like a ton of depth of the character, but you do get a lot of really wonderful character moments, and you do get some really wonderful comedic moments. There's I don't want to necessarily say romantic tension or sexual tension, but there's definitely some sort of romantic comedy and sex comedy at play here. The film, at one point, one of the villains refers to Jackie Chan and the women that he's with as being rather horny. And there are times when this film feels rather horny, but in a very playful way, not in any sort of like overtly sexual way. Instead, it's mostly innuendo, and it's mostly sight gags and fun. It's not over the top. It's not crass, which is fun. There's just a lot to love about this movie. And again, I'll come back to it one more time. It's just so much fun. It's fun to watch. Both cuts that are included, I think, are absolutely worth your time. If you're only going to watch one, the original Hong Kong cut is pretty lean, and I think going with that version without those 10 extra minutes, it just zips through. That's also, if you're watching on the Blu-ray that's included, that's the one that includes, and then the 4K rather, that's the one that includes the audio commentaries, both of which are fantastic. I think I preferred the FJ DeSanto and Frank Jing commentary a little bit to the other one, but I will say that the excuse me, I want to make sure I get this right here. The Arnie Venema and the Mike Leader commentary is also a lot of fun. They tend to digress a little bit more, whereas I feel like DeSanto and Jing kind of stay with the picture and talking about what's happening on screen, the actors that are on screen, and Jing does this wonderful thing, which if you've ever heard a commentary track from him before, it's very like him, where he will set little things up and just say, I'll talk about this later, and then he does come back to it, and often at very appropriate moments in the film. He's a great voice to listen to, and I think pairing him up with DeSanto is wonderful, and they have a great repartee, and talking about their experiences with the film and with Jackie Chan is quite illuminating. The Venema and the Leader commentary, again, a lot of fun. Definitely a little more digressions here and there. But that said, they also add a lot of information about the film, and specific moments here and there that I really appreciated their perspective. So both commentaries are definitely worth your time. The other special features, the Vincent Lin interview is a lot of fun, very, very good. Now there's two on there. One is clearly a little bit more polished. The other one is basically a Skype interview, and so the quality is not quite as great as the first one. There's definitely some rehashing in the second one. That said, they both offer great context for the film and for his own personal experience making the film. One of the things that the audio commentaries and the interviews on the disc really helped to paint that picture of this being the most expensive Hong Kong film made at the time, of being not only over budget but also over schedule. That Jackie, was really chasing that kind of auteur feeling when he was making this film, and that ultimately it might not have been quite the success that some people, certainly investors in the studio, had hoped that it would be. Although it was still very successful. It was very successful. It was just because he spent so much money and took so much time making it, it could never perhaps measure up to the expectations due to that. And so it's the last film that he solo directed, and I think that a lot of the comments about the making of the film give you a little bit of a window into how chaotic it could be at times, about how much pressure there was at times, but that it became very close knit, and you were spending a lot of time with these people, and they were working very hard. And so a lot of folks look back on their time as being a difficult experience in some ways, and yet one that was very rewarding. And no one has anything bad to say about Jackie, for instance, or any of the other cast and crew. It's just that it was gargantuan, and that's something that's driven home over the course of a lot of these interviews. The interview with Kin Lo was a lot of fun. Hearing Kin Lo talk about just kind of how he got into the martial arts, how he got into film, working with Jackie, working on this film in particular. Really enjoyed that one. The Bruce Fontaine interview, also very interesting. One of the things that's great about the Vincent Lin interview and the Bruce Fontaine interview is getting the the foreigners perspective on working in Hong Kong. You have Canadian and Australian actors talking about their work in Hong Kong, and what it was like to kind of be involved in a picture like this. Because the other thing that Jackie really wanted to do with Operation Condor was have that international feel, which is why even the women in the film, for instance, you have a Hong Kong actor, you have a Japanese actor, and you have a European actor, all playing these three female characters. And I think that even the locations, filming in Hong Kong, filming in Spain, filming in Morocco, was another element to that, to providing that international scope and embracing that kind of Indiana Jones and James Bond feel as well. The Victor Fan interview, the appreciation for Operation Condor, super informative, provides valuable context, not just for this particular film, but also for what the studios were like in Hong Kong at the time, what things were like kind of leading up to the production of this film, what the landscape was like, and what that, and how, you know, Jackie operated in that, and how he got to be, you know, from going from kind of a you know, bit player slash, you know, bad guy to the next Bruce Lee, to, you know, really kind of claiming his own position as the Jackie Chan that we kind of all know and love, being that comedic action superstar with the over the top stunts, etc., and how that kind of all led into him making Operation Condor, which I think at the time for him was kind of like, this is it, this is my big thing, this is my big project. So really enjoyed that one quite a bit. Overall, the special features are fantastic. The presentation of the film is incredible, again, with this Sean Longmore art. Beautiful box here. And you can just learn so much about the film, about the participants in the film. And I really appreciate the work, the care, the love that 88 Films has put into this. They're great with all of their films. Obviously, this is an import. This is not something that you can is readily available here in North America. It is. I mean, you can buy this off of Amazon, but I would certainly recommend, you know, some of the great you know, independent storefronts out there, like Diabolic or Orbit or Grindhouse even. You know, those are great places to support and great places to pick up a film like this, or many others, which there are plenty of others that we will certainly talk about. You know, and I look forward to doing that. I'm just going to show off Come Drink With Me 4K again. This is one that I love, and I'll definitely talk about a little bit more down the road. But anyway, that's kind of all I have to say right now. Operation Condor is just a fantastic, fun film, well worth a watch. This particular box set is gorgeous from top to bottom. Everything about it is done with care and love. And I think that anyone who wants to add a film like this to their collection, this is the version to get. This is definitely the way to go. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. Again, you get 2 audio commentaries, you get numerous interviews, documentaries, and not documentaries, but a video essay. And it just really helps to enhance that experience overall. So check this one out. Again, that is Armour of God 2 Operation Condor from 88 Films. Gorgeous. Jackie Chan is incredible. Just one of the true geniuses of film, and simply on a level all his own, and not just in the action realm, but just in film in general. What he does, the inventiveness, the creativity, everything about his work is special, and I think that this film is absolutely an exemplar of that. Even if it might not be the best film in his overall, it's certainly up there. You won't be disappointed in checking this one out. That's going to do it all here for Fate's Wide Wheel this time around. I'm having so much fun doing these. This is something that I think, again, has just been a long time coming. Friend of the show, JJ Lindell, sometimes co-host, amazing artist, wonderful guy all around. He suggested I do this probably about a year and a half ago or so. It was even before Quantum Leap was canceled. It was something that he suggested. And after the cancellation of the show, and as I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to do, where I would go if I had enough time, if this was something that I still could do, etc., I just had the opportunity, you know. And when Hard Boiled arrived last week, it just really provided that last bit of motivation I needed to say, I love this movie. I love that I'm getting this amazing special edition of it from Shout Factory. I am absolutely going to do that thing that I've always wanted to do, that somebody else encouraged me to do, and here we go. So this is absolutely going to be a huge part of the show going forward. I will absolutely be doing unboxings and reviews. I plan on doing some special quick kicks. That's right. It's one of my favorite G.I. Joes. When I was a kid growing up, Quick Kick was legitimately one of my favorite G.I. Joes. Anyway, so we're going to do some quick kicks, which, you know, will be shorter, little overviews of films, maybe not full unboxings. You know, some movies don't necessarily warrant a full unboxing. Like if we're talking about like Hammer Films, you know, Phantom of the Opera, which I just picked up on an indicator sale. This is another import. You know, there's not a lot of bells and whistles to this packaging, right? But I still would love to talk about this film, and it would probably only take me 10 minutes or so to do that. So expect to see some shorter stuff in the future as well. Also expect to see some series. I talked about this during the Hard Boiled review. I hadn't picked this up yet, but I decided, you know what? I love what they're releasing. Shout Factory's done a really wonderful job with these. I should pick this box set up. 88 Films has also released some of these films individually. Maybe I'll get those down the road. I really don't know. That said, you can't go wrong with a 4K Jet Li box set. There's some incredible films in here. And with box sets like this, I think I will take a different approach, and I'll probably just do like, one film every once in a while, as opposed to try to do the whole box set at one time. The Shaw Brothers box sets that I have, I want to do that with as well. I recently watched The Assassin with Jimmy Wong Yu, which is a just a great wuxia film. Definitely something that I'll talk about here soon. But for now, I am going to get out of here, and I look forward to bringing you more soon. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, sign up for the notifications. That way you won't miss a single one of these videos. I'm certainly going to be trying some new things in the future, maybe some more clever editing and that sort of stuff. But right now we're just getting started. We're getting restarted, if you will. And I can't wait to share more with you. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, stay safe out there, and always, always leap responsibly.